Coming up next on The Voice of Alabama Politics. Happy New Year. Welcome to The Voice of Alabama Politics, where we tackle the tough issues so you have the hard facts. I'm your host, Bill Britt, and Happy New Year. You know, for nearly 2 decades, we've been weekly bringing you the news and opinions that matter about our state. Some of it has been encouraging, other troubling. But each week, we tackle those issues without fear or favor. I think it's always important that we have this time of the year to look back. We all do it. We want to see where we've been and try to figure out where we're going. And that's what we're going to do over the next half hour. We're going to take a look back at the decisions that were made, good and bad, that are going to shape 2026 and that definitely shaped 2025. Let's take a look. Katie Britt has yet got another big, well, it's not really promotion, but an opportunity. She has now been appointed deputy whip for the majority, the GOP in the Senate under Wyoming Senator Brasso.
John Barrasso. Mm-hmm.
And Susan, this is going to give her even more power. She's up there with the big hitters to whip the votes, to get the Senate business done. And she has, really excelled in 2 years, far above what most freshman senators ever do.
Listen, those of us who know Katie, this is no surprise at all. Katie's always been a go-getter. She's always wanted to get the job done. She wants to work for the people of Alabama, and that's very clear. And they're beginning to see it now.
Why are we discussing, transgender bathroom issues?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like who, why are we discussing books in libraries? Who is that keeping up at night? Nobody. But your hospital bills are keeping you up at night. Your heating bills and all those things, and doing something about, your schools, your local school taxes and the funding for the school system.
Josh, this week you wrote a fantastic in-depth article on many things that people don't know about the Porch Band of Creek Indians. They look at them and they think it's just gambling.
It was nice to see such an attention to detail of what people need and taking the resources and the funds that they have and trying to spread that around an entire community and do things that's truly transformative for a population of people.
Montgomery, Alabama, and politics in general, politicos, love to spread rumors. But there's been a rumor floating around here that says that Speaker Nathaniel Ledbetter is taking a position in Washington, D.C. and leaving the speakership. Well, I spoke with the speaker and asked directly, was he leaving? And he said, no, he had the job that he wanted and that he was not planning on leaving Alabama to go to D.C. There are 2 types of politicians in the House and Senate in Alabama. There are the workhorses that get things done. They concentrate on the issues that affect people's lives mostly. And then there are what we call the show ponies, and they're the ones that want to get attention. They concentrate on bathroom bills and banning books and calling out transgender youth. And they don't listen to anyone. They're the stars of their own show. But, we got to get rid of those people. Governor Ivey has always been about the policies and not the politics. And that's her strength. So I was a little surprised when she came up with the What is a Woman bill.
I was very surprised about that because she's always been about policy and not politics. She's been that for her entire career. So when she came out with these hot button issues in there, I was absolutely flabbergasted that she was speaking on this.
But the dumbest crime bill I have ever seen is SB 132. As Groucho Marx famously said, politics is the art of looking for a problem, finding it everywhere, diagnosing it incorrectly, and applying the wrong remedy. What this bill does is that it would criminalize anyone who buys Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10 at a legitimate store. It would also make it a Class D felony, and up there with heroin and LSD. It would send the people who sold it to prison, the people who use it to prison. Instead of regulating it and taxing it, they want to throw people in jail, Susan, who are, many of them are using it because they can't get medical cannabis. Josh, you wrote this week, to say several controversial bills passed this week or came out of committee this week is really an understatement. It is like all the controversial bills that could be brought have been brought. And if they get any worse, we will be living in some third world despot country,
Yeah, man, we're covering the culture wars. There's no doubt about that. I mean, listen, we've defined what a woman is. It's we're making great progress for the people of this state.
What this is a tax cut for the rich, paid for by the poorest.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. Listen, this is there's a big saying in the progressive community right now, and it's summed up by the letters FAFO, and this is the FO part of what you've done. Okay,
we do now, in fact, have a law that says what is a woman, what is a man, what is a mother, what is a father, what is a child, what is a lane cake, all this stuff, but we knew they were going to pass this. Governor Ivey called for it. That it's been in the making. It's part of the national agenda against transgender people. Transgender youths have been used as pawns in a devil's bargain. Alabama has one of the worst infant mortalities and maternal mortalities in the country. I mean, I wrote a story one time, and there were countries that we would consider not fully developed countries that had better outcome than we do. The House of Representatives unanimously passed a bill, it's HB 89, where pregnant women will be given the presumption that they're going to get Medicaid. Over 50% of the children born in Alabama are born under Medicaid.
Yes, they are.
So, but now they're going to have the presumption so that for 60 days, women will get prenatal care and not have to wait that period when Medicaid would kick in for them. For years, people have been questioning whether Senator Tommy Tuberville actually is a resident of Alabama. We know that when he ran for the Senate seat, and I think he ran in 2019 during the COVID pandemic, he had just there was a lot of questions about his residencies, but nobody vetted him because it was during the COVID period. But now he's rumoring or teasing that he might run for governor. And there are different rules for running for governor than there are for running for the U.S. Senate. To run for governor in Alabama, you have to have been a resident of Alabama for 7 consecutive years. It does not seem to me that he has met that criteria. These moments tell a story, some good and some not so good. But this is Alabama politics, and that's what we cover, and that's what you join us for. We'll be right back with more of the year that was 2025.
Your home is your most valuable asset. But what if someone tried to steal it from you? Property fraud is one of the fastest growing areas of fraud in the country today.
As a district attorney, I've seen firsthand the devastating effects of property fraud. That's why I'm proud to support the Montgomery County Probate Court's REACT program.
REACT is designed to protect your property and to give you peace of mind. By signing up, you'll receive an email notification if a document is filed against your property.
This program is a game changer. It has the potential to prevent fraud and protect countless homeowners throughout Montgomery County.
So don't wait. Sign up for REACT today and protect your home.
Protect your home with REACT. Sign up today.
Welcome back to the V, the voice of Alabama politics. Let's take a look back at more moments from 2025. Moments that revealed a lot more than they promised about leadership, about clarity, about the direction that was taken. Let's look at them and remember 2025.
Let's just talk about the grocery tax for a second. Democrats started in the 90s. The damn 90s, y'all. Pearl Jam was on the radio when we started talking about getting rid of the grocery tax. And now all of a sudden it's like they've swam down and discovered the Titanic or something at the bottom, and we're going to chop it off 1 penny at a time. Here's your penny. Here's another penny for you. Here's another penny. In the meantime, they've cut the top marginal tax rate. Nobody says a word about that.
You know, we're used to Attorney General Steve Marshall being an angry loser, but this past week he got his angry loser butt handed to him by federal judge Myron Thompson, and because he said that Marshall cannot prosecute women or any individual who helps a woman go out of state to get an abortion any more than they can prosecute someone for going out of state to play bingo or to go gamble or to do anything like that. And this echoes the exact thought that Chief Justice Brett Kavanaugh said, that people could still go out of state. But Steve Marshall is so desperate to appeal to the base that you would think he hates women.
You can only fool people so long if they have knowledge and they have experience. And what they don't want, they don't want kids going into libraries and reading about all of these scary people that they keep using as boogeymen to scare the hell out of them. And once they learn that, these lives and how they're affected and what they've lived through and all these different things, and it's normalized to a certain degree, well, then those kids aren't going to be scared, and they're not going to vote based on the same scare tactics that they're using to scare their parents with. Okay. And so I'm sorry, but I mean, honestly,
maybe you can.
This is the goal.
The blame game started immediately after Senator Gudger came out and said, "Look, too little, too late." The blame game came out, and it's always the same people. Oh, it's PCI. Oh, it's the McGregors. Oh, it's this one. It's that one. The truth is, as Josh wrote, it's the legislature's fault.
Yes, it is.
They can pass anything they want. The Republicans can pass anything they want. They have a super majority, but they determined not to do it. And as Josh said, somebody's got to lose their job of it.
And somebody's got to lose their job. Somebody's making too much money at this. That's the only rationale behind them not passing it. That bill last year was so good. It lost by one vote.
Yeah.
I brought the same bill back this year, and everybody's all about the Porch Creek were on board. The McGregors were on board. Everybody was on board with this bill. The only thing the only people that weren't on board was the legislature.
Yeah. The 10 Commandments will now have to be displayed in Alabama's K through 12 schools, or they're going to have to be there so that everybody can see them and try to understand them. The truth is, out of the 10 Commandments, there are only just a few that have to do with any kind of law. Murder, stealing,
lying,
that kind of thing.
Lying
under oath. The rest of them are either ideological, religious things, or are about worshiping God, which, as so far in this country, you cannot mandate. Last week, the Senate was confirming the new Joint Chief of Staff, Dan Kane, and this is the guy that would have the authority to implement the coming of Space Command to Alabama. He will have some say in that. He will have some say in that. But Tommy Tuberville was absent for the series of votes on the new Joint Chief.
He was. Reminds me a little of Corey Harbison, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was at the Masters.
He was
The
watching
Masters.
golf,
He
Josh.
was watching golf while, we're down here wanting Space Command to come down here to benefit Alabama. Of course, he does live in Florida. I understand that. But yeah, he was at the Masters and for that critical vote.
Well, thank you.
Well, and speaking of green, the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission got slapped around once again by Judge James Anderson. If these guys were the Three Stooges, they would be one. The Three Stooges couldn't be this bad.
No.
I mean, Susan. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And now they're on a three-peat. The judge has said you got to start back over again. So this is 3 strikes and you're out. What are you gonna do?
With all the licenses now are invalid. So now they've got to, as we've been saying all along, start over. The problem with this, though, is even in starting over, it's going to be another year. And it's already been 5 years since it was legalized. So we're talking about 6 years in before any possibility of anybody getting the relief from the medical cannabis that they need.
We had a couple of really good op-eds in APR this week from our Republican representatives. And one of the guys that wrote one this week, Representative Rex Reynolds, and I think Rex Reynolds is a serious man who is there in the Senate and in the House for the right reasons. Now, he and Greg Albritton, Senator Greg Albritton, have been chairing this oversight committee of the opioid funds that Alabama receives. And Susan, he points out in this opinion column that Alabama has been doing a lot of good work. This commission has been doing a lot of good work to make sure that the opioid funding, the lawsuit that we got the opioid from, goes to people who actually are addicted to get them help. This is so counterintuitive to a lot of things Alabama does. Over the last several weeks, there's been a lot of reporting on where Tommy Tuberville lives. I think we first started raising the residency issue, and we have looked at it. Susan, you've looked at it. Josh, you've looked at it. We've looked at it exhaustively, and it does not appear to any rational person that he actually lives in Alabama.
No, he doesn't.
I had a conversation with some people that are close to him, and they put forth their argument. And I finally said, do you think that we are so naive and so ignorant that we would think a wealthy man, would live in a 1,500 square foot home in Auburn, Alabama, rather than his $6 million beach house in Santa Rosa, Florida, where his wife spends her days? And Josh Moon, columnist and investigative reporter at APR. Welcome.
Hi, guys.
Hey, y'all.
600 episodes of the hottest air in Alabama.
Yes.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, 600 just today.
Yeah.
We recorded 600 of them just today.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, next to the hot air that came out of Montgomery, I think we feel like an air conditioning because, we've been covering this for a long, long time.
Yeah, we have.
All three of us have. And I have to say, I had a hard time coming up with anything good they did. Now, they did do some good, but no big thing, nothing that stood out, like last session with the overtime tax.
Right,
it really
yeah.
helped people, but there just wasn't anything like that, was there, Susan?
No, it took you forever to wade through all the crap they did this session to find anything. I mean, they did cut the grocery tax. I think where they put 2 to 3%.
One of the things that's always troubling is this dark money trail that seems to be more and more in politics. Right now, in the Alabama Attorney General's race, Catherine Robertson was given $1 million, Josh, by basically a group out of Tennessee that looks like they operate out of a post office box. And here she gets $1 million, which puts her ahead of everyone in the AG's race simply because she's got friends who got dark money.
Yeah, it's it's troubling to me. First of all, it's troubling to me the amount of money that's in politics all the way around. Okay, I mean, it just is. It's all. I mean, I don't care what party we're talking about. What is it? Kamala Harris raised what $2 billion and blew through $2 billion in her campaign last time around. And I mean, that's an astronomical figure that I think could go to better services and to help a lot of people out there in the world. But I think the one thing that we also should all be able to agree on is the fact that we want to know who it is who are supporting these candidates, who it is that's paying for access to candidates.
Finally, Space Command is coming home
Where it should be.
where it should have been all along, in our opinion. Now, I know Colorado's not real happy about it, but look, these are political decisions a lot of time. But the statistics from the government itself found that Huntsville was a better location. And Josh, I would say, other than trying to figure out the infrastructure problem up in Huntsville, Madison, all that, it's a pretty darn big deal, right?
Yeah, trying to figure out the infrastructure, the where the housing prices are going to go, where these 30,000 people are going to live.
For months, we had hoped that Coach Bruce Pearl would come to the rescue and save us from the nincompoops who were running for the Senate. But this last week, he said, "Nah, I'm out of basketball and I'm not in politics." One of our reporters, Chance Phillip, reached out to the Tuberville office in Washington, D.C., and they said that we were actually ridiculous to even ask the question of why he would go on the Alex Jones show, or a known conspiracy theorist, or why he would make such derogatory statements about people, whether they're Democrats or Republicans. We're all in this together. We can now report with certainty that Doug Jones will file his paperwork with the Secretary of State this coming week to run for governor of Alabama. Josh, that is breaking news.
Nice. Little breaking news on a Sunday. That's nice for everybody. Listen, I think that is welcomed for a lot of folks. I think there are a lot of people who are looking for a viable candidate out there. I think it's great news for the Democratic ticket right now.
The moments we just looked at remind us that politics isn't abstract, it's personal. And we see that in the decisions made. But what a world we live in, where we have a front row seat to the policies and decisions that were made. You're watching The V. We'll be right back.
Alabama has a hands-free driving law, and that means you can't hold your mobile phone while making a call. Oh, and no writing messages, recording, or watching videos either. Plus, you can only use a single button or swipe of a finger to answer a call. So what's a driver to do? Alabama's hands-free driving law is in effect. Follow it.
Welcome back to The V, the voice of Alabama politics. Here at Alabama Politics, we take our work seriously, but sometimes you just gotta laugh and see the humor in what's happening all around you. And then sometimes we just have to laugh at ourselves because the camera keeps rolling. It catches us at our best and our worst and our funniest and our silliest. So let's take a look back at those moments as well and say, that's people, right? Steve Marshall has made it official. He's not going to run for governor. I feel the same way. They're back in session.
Oh, God.
So you gotta hide your wallet, your
Pray
women,
for us,
and your liquor,
please.
because the legislature's
for
back
us.
in town.
Oh, Jesus.
Right? After the first 2 weeks, I need a drink. After the session, you will too. I'm your host, Bill Britt, And as always, I'm joined by Susan Britt, research guru extraordinaire, and Josh Moon, columnist and investigator for Nanook of the North.
I ain't playing with this cold weather no more. I've had enough. I've had enough of this. Look, I got a garage studio. I can't turn the heater on because it's too loud. This is not. I don't get paid enough for this. I got to do something about this weather.
We don't give a dang. See how I handled it?
You
I
did
didn't
well.
I didn't do a Josh.
You didn't.
We don't care.
It'd feel better if you did.
Yeah, well, I might feel better, but some of our viewers might not. Susan Britt, research guru extraordinaire, and Josh Moon, investigative reporter and columnist at APR. Welcome.
Sorry, sorry. Somebody was texting me war plans. Go ahead.
Oh, well,
They weren't war plans. There weren't details in them.
there's no details.
No.
No, I'm sorry. Well, it looked like war plans. Maybe I think of them differently.
Well, the legislature has been back in session, and I can tell you, it ain't been good.
No, the silliness continues.
Losers. And the one and only, the fabulous Josh Moon, investigative reporter and columnist at APR.
These introductions are getting better and better every time. I love it.
I don't believe leopards change their stripes that much.
No, they don't.
Anyway, it's a mess. You go,
Do leopards have stripes?
huh? Whatever.
Stripes.
Zebras change stripes. I didn't get drunk before the show today.
It's good that you're in the birthplace of democracy, so you can watch it die from afar from over here.
As far as George W. Bush said it got harder to put food on your family. I still don't know what that means, but that's what George W. said. Also, the hemp bill goes up in flames. Smoke them if you got them. Josh Moon, investigative reporter and columnist at APR, and one heck of a nice guy. Josh?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Those payments are still paying off. I like it.
Well, they're not a lot, but they go.
If people only knew what goes on in this studio
They
before
go-
we turn on the camera.
They go to pay for kibbles and bits.
Now that was a lot of fun. And sometimes you just have to laugh to keep from crying. But from all of us here at the Voice of Alabama Politics, we want to thank you for joining us every week. And with all our hearts, we hope and pray that you have a very happy 2026, and that you and your family and your loved ones prosper and enjoy all that our great state has to offer. And always remember, you watch us because we watch them.